Hello creative soulmates and welcome back to my channel. So in this video we're going to see how to make an 8 pieces blouse, something like this or this. And I'm also going to show you how you can adapt your pattern to make a 6 pieces blouse, something like this. Remember to subscribe, like and share this video. Thank you. Okay, so here in today's video we're going to talk about how to make a 6 pieces blouse and how you can go about making an 8 pieces blouse using your basic bodice pattern. You can see that this is a basic bodice that I have here, and I've drafted the front and the back, as you can see. So if you've not seen our video on how to draft your basic pattern using your own measurements, making a custom made basic pattern from your own measurement by yourself, you can click on the link. I've dropped the link there in the description box. I shared a lot of tips and tricks there. So let's dive into this video right here. So the first thing you're going to do here is your underbust contouring. I've showed us a video on how to do your underbust contouring, but this time around we have a princess style line of the armhole. So it's the armhole princess style line. I've showed us a video on how to do the shoulder line princess seam. Yes, I've showed us a video there. I've dropped all the link to this video in the description box. You can watch them from there. So now what I have here is the armhole princess style line, and to go about the armhole princess style line is very simple. There's nothing complicated there. You know, we have a midpoint for the armhole earlier, right? Okay, so you can decide to use that midpoint, or you can decide to measure all the way to the end of the armhole curve. So when you measure all the way this way, you have 10.5. That means you're going to look for the midpoint of that 10.5, okay, which will be 5 1/4. Then you measure again and find where 5 1/4 is. It's at this point here. So you can either mark to this midpoint that you worked with earlier, or you can mark to this 5.5. So whichever you choose can work out for you. So we're going to just stick on this one that I have here. So when you do that markings, you get your curve and connect all the way to the bust point. If you have your basic pattern, so you connect all the way to that point, like so. So if you have your basic pattern, remember you have to extend your dark line to your bust point, okay? Because we are going to be cutting through the pattern. We're not doing a sewn in that here. All right. So that being said, you can decide also to do a contouring of the armhole. Yes, you can also contour the armhole. So all you have to do is this. You can take 1 inch, you can take 1 inch, you can take 1.5 inch. So just mark from this point, you mark downward, okay? Or you can, if you don't want it to come too much to the armhole area, you can divide that out. Let this your marking be on the center. That is even the best. So you place your center of your 1 inch. That's 1 inch I'm doing. If you're doing 1.5, you place the center of the 1.5 inch on the line here. So I'm marking 1 inch, okay? Do this, all right? Then you're going to connect this back. This time you're stopping above your, that's on the armhole line. That's where you're connecting. You're not connecting all the way. It's only the midpoint that should connect all the way to the bust point, okay? So if you're working with a straight ruler, just connect all the way to your armhole. But my curve can do the work for me. You can see my curve, it blends out, okay? My curve blends out for me. So I am not worried at all. So I'll just go that way. So you can see how my curve blends out the line for me. So we are going to through this line. Watching this line, can't you see that this is longer than this? So if it is longer, by the time you sew, it's not going to match up. So what do? You're going to measure this. What I like to do is measure. I'll measure this all the way from that point. You measure, just go carefully to the bust point. I have 7 inches. So I'm going to make sure that this shorter one is up to 7 inches also. So I'll measure from here, from the bust point now, we're measuring. So you can see I placed my 7 inches on that bust point, and I'm measuring. You can see that. That means this is where it should stop. So I'm going to take that measurement again and be sure that it's equal. So that means I have to extend this line to that point. So you're going to extend it like so. Can you see that? So you extend this to that point and reconnect to your armhole. All right. So you're going to reconnect this to your armhole. But before reconnecting, you know we've taken in the armhole here. All right. We've tightened the armhole here. You can decide to replace that the intake that you did here. You can decide to replace it here. So I'm going to replace this armhole. If I don't replace it, it's going to be shorter than the back. So you have to replace it. We took how many inches? 1 inch. That's what we took. So you're going to replace it here. That means your armhole line will be extended to this point, like so. Then you reconnect back again. So the reason for this is because of the bust. We want the bust, the dress that we're making, we want the bust to really contour out, to curve out. So we're trying to create a dart from the armhole and dart from the bust line to give it that nice shaped out curve for the bust. So now you're going to reconnect this back, okay? Reconnect it back to the line. So you're going to reconnect this back. So everything now is about to change because I need to extend this line. I need to extend this line too. Can you see that? So we have a new line here. So when I'm done with this, the next thing I'm going to do is check other alteration because I'm going to close my dart, my bust dart, and transfer this dart to the armhole area to increase the dart for this point, and this will make the contouring of our bust come out so much. Yes. Now, what about the neckline? I want to alter the neckline, so I've already marked out what I want. I want a boat neckline. So for my boat neckline, on my shoulder drop, I am going to do a marking here of, I'm doing a marking here of 5.5 inches from my center line. Okay, then I am coming down extra ½ inch, so that's 3.5. You know, both neckline, the length is usually not too much, just a little bit difference from the basic. So it's just the width that you increase for a boat neckline. So now we are going to create the boat curve. So I'll just use this curve to connect this back. And that's my boat neckline here. All right, I think at this point we are almost done. The next thing you're going to do, okay, after this is to make sure the neckline you do for the back that's the width you took for your neckline for the front must be equal to that you are going to take for the back. So this is what I'll just do. We marked out 5 inches, right? 5.5 inches. Or you can take note of that 5.5 inches, or you can check what is left here. What we have left here is 2.5 inches. So I'll just make sure I have that same measurement here. So 2.5 inches is what I have here. Then I can alter my back. My back can be deeper than the front, depending on what I want to have as my end result. Okay, so I have marked a depth from the shoulder line. I marked a depth of 7 inches. 7 inches. Okay, so from the neckline is about 6 inches. So you're going to mark this now. Okay, so you connect these points like this. So now we have a new neckline from our basic. Now remember I told you, if you are working, or if you're doing an adaptation or an alteration from your basic pattern, transfer to another paper before you begin, okay, so that you can always make use of that pattern, unless you love to draft regularly like me. I always draft from the beginning anytime I am working. All right, so the next thing, now you can see the princess style line we have created for the back. All I just did is reconnect my dart to touch my armhole line. This is my armhole line. This is the waistline. Okay, your dart leg must touch the armhole line for the back. Then you connect to your half of your armhole here. Okay, it's that easy. So the back does not have a bust. We don't need to contour anywhere or taking any dart on the armhole. So as long as I've replaced what I took in here on this point, it will match up by the time I join, so I don't have to worry about that. And that's the basic adaptation we can make here for our 8 pieces blouse. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to close my darts and open up the one I want to open. So I'm closing my bust darts to open up my princess style lender. So I'll just cut. Okay. So now I want to make sure my dart leg are true. So I have 7 here. Okay, it's equal, so I don't have any issue with that. Okay, remember our new line, we have a new line there. So I'm going to cut this dart open. Cut it open. You can see connect all the way to the bust point. So this time I'm cutting from here. So I'm not cutting on the line yet. Okay. So I'm just trying to open this up. So I'm cutting through the center. You can see what I'm doing. Cutting through the center for now, all the way to the bust line, so that I can close this dart. So I just put my glue, or you can use your paper tape. You can use your paper tape. Okay. Closed and transferred. Can you see that? Closed and transferred. Can you see that? So you want to make sure it's really lapping well, so you don't have excesses at the end of the day. Can you see? So now we're going to continue the cutting. So I'll just try and blend out that point later. Let's just continue cutting. So you're cutting through the new armhole. And that's it. You know, this is gonna fall down. So we continue our cutting. And I'm going to cut here now. So I'm cutting away my darts. So always remember to blend. So you don't have sharp ends. Okay. So when you blend, you'll be able to know how to cut out better. Can you see? So I'm cutting here also all the way. Okay. Okay. Then cut out this. You know, this is going to be cut out too. Okay. So you can see I'm trying to blend out the bust point line here. Can you see this? Can you see how beautiful it is? Okay. So now we're going to cut here. Remember, we have another dart to cut here. Oh yeah, another one here. Okay. Then we have our margin. Don't forget to cut out your margin. So let me quickly cut out the back. Can you see? Can you see? So we've closed our side, so they must match up. Can you see this? So at the end of the day, it's going to match up. Can you see? And here also, by the time you sew here, it's definitely going to match up. Can you see? So that's how you go about your princess style line from your basic bodice. Now let's continue with what we are here for, which is to draft the 8 pieces or 6 pieces blouse. So because we don't want to waste fabric, it's usually advisable to do a pattern drafting for 8 pieces or 6 pieces blouse like this. So if I want to do an 8 pieces blouse, what do I do? For an 8 pieces blouse, right, we have how many pieces here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So for 8 pieces blouse, you will need to leave it this way. You are not going to alter anything because you know this is half of our measurement. This is half of the front and half of the back. Hey, our light is back. Okay, like I was saying, this is half of the front here and half of the back is this. Okay, I didn't do, this is our center back. Let's not get this confused. And this is the side back. Okay, we'll be joining at this point and at this point. Then this is the side front and this is the center front. It's very good you always label. It's very important you always label when you're making a dress. So like I said, this is half of the front. That means we need 2 more of this to complete the front. And that 2 plus this 2 is 4, right? And we need another 2 again to complete the back. And 2 plus this, that 2 plus this 2 here is what? Is another 4. So 4 plus 4 will make it 8, which will make it a complete 8 pieces blouse, right? So if you want to make a 6 pieces blouse, instead of 8, it becomes 6 pieces. So that means we need this on fold. All you have to do is transfer this to a paper to give it on, to put it on fold. All right, it will be on fold so that you open it up. There won't be a seam line on the center. But for this dress, after I'm done with 8 pieces blouse, I will have a seam at the center line. Now you remember that center front is usually on fold. For most dresses, center front is usually on fold. But when you are doing an adaptation like this 8 pieces blouse, for example, that means the center front will not be on fold anymore. There will be a seam on the center front. But this 6 pieces blouse, there won't be a seam. It will be on fold. That means what you have to do is this. For 6 pieces, I want to explain to you. It will be on fold. This is what I mean when I say on fold. On fold is this, just like how it sounds, on fold. All right. You place your pattern on it like a normal dress. Like normally when we make a dress, the center front is on fold, like I said earlier. So it will be this way. Then you're going to add your flay. You add your flay to just the seam line here. That's the dark seam line, like so. You add your flay to it, and that will be all. The center will not come with a flay because unless you want to add a zipper to the center of the 6 pieces blouse, which will actually make it a 7 pieces blouse and no more 6 pieces. So all the same, I just hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. That 6 pieces means this particular pattern from the whole piece will be on fold for the front, and the back, of course, the back will have a zipper. So at the end of the day, it still boils down to an 8 pieces blouse. So the only thing to tell the difference between 8 pieces and 6 pieces blouse is the flay attached to it. The flay you attach to a 6 pieces blouse is only on the seam line, the dark seam line. There is no flay attached to the center this way because there is no seam line on the center. It will be on fold this way, to be on fold. Like I folded this paper out to be on fold. So when you open it up, you just have a straight panel here and a flayed panel by the side. I hope you got that right. So that's the difference between 6 pieces and 8 pieces. So for this video, what we are doing is an 8 pieces blouse. So we are going to go ahead and alter our pattern now. So the next thing to do is to attach your, okay, let me see if I can do it all at a time. As the front and the back. So I just leave the flay you're adding depends on your choice, but 3 inches is usually the best. You can do 2 inches if you don't want it to flay too much, so you can do 2.5. So let me work with 2.5. I don't really want too much flay for the dress, or should I do 3 inches? Oh my god, I'm confused. Okay, let me do 3 inches. I can always reduce it if it is too much. All right, so that means I can place my pattern this way, and you can pin down, or you can use your paper tape or your adhesive to hold it down, whichever. I actually think adhesive is better. Let's just try adhesive. Just a little. Okay, just hold it down like that. Then I'll bring the other piece for the front and see if it will work. It won't work. Okay, that means I have to work with this one. So I'll mark another 3 inches here. You can see what we're doing. We're adding 3 inches to the left hand side, 3 inches to the right hand side, like so. Can you see that? So it's going to connect all the way to the waistline. That's why I stopped my paper on the waistline area. So now you're going to create a line. First of all, let's create this line. And use a pen, right? Let's use a marker pen. Okay. And you're going to connect this to your, okay, and this here. Can you see that? So now I've succeeded in creating my panel. But if you want your panel to start from the underbust, okay, then you have to take it all the way to the underbust line. That means your sheet has to be on the underbust line. So I'm just going to cut this out first before I continue with the rest. Okay, so I have that of the center panel. Now we are going to do the rest. Let me see if this can work here. I'm trying to manage my paper. Paper is now expensive. So I'm looking for 3 inches to the left, 3 inches to the right. You can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to minimize the use of paper, and I have it correct. This done. Next is going to be this. Okay, so I'm going to measure 3 inches here, 3 inches here. So guys, you can see what we have here. Okay, so I just want to show you guys this illustration. Now if you join this way, the way we have drafted out, if you join it this way, now I've used my pin to secure this point to show you guys something. By the time you open it up, can you see how this place is looking? Can you see how pointed or pointing or something here is looking? So you need to blend this out. You need to blend here out. There has to be a blending out of this point. So I've placed my front, the two fronts, I've placed them, and now we are going to blend out by taking out 1 inch. So you can take out 1 inch, you can take 3/4 of an inch, you can take 1/2 inch. Depends on how much blend you want to give there. So let me do 3/4. So this is 3/4 of an inch here, and I just take off the pin there. Then with the help of your curve, you're going to blend that out. So I have something like this. So I'm going to cut that out. So by the time we turn this over again, Can you see how beautifully curved out it is? Can you see that? It's no more looking funny, right? So that's just the illustration I said I should show you. I'm going to do the same thing to others. For the sides, this is the side. Side joins to side, S and S. So I'm going to fold them over again and blend it out. So guys, this is the blouse of the 8 pieces. This is the 8 pieces blouse, and I've cut out the lining and the main fabric. Okay, so this is the back. This is the center back, and here is the side back. It should come this way. Now for the center back, I added about 1 inch seam allowance for the zipper. This is not that necessary. You can make it half of an inch if that's what you want. Then on the inseams, just like this, you can see I have about half an inch for joining the inseams. Then on the side also, we have the seam allowance for the side seams. Okay, so as you can see, I have cut out the lining for the fabric. So, and mind you that the fabric is doubled. Okay, I have to place it on fold to cut it out, or you can cut it one after the other. It must not be on fold. So after cutting out on the fabric, I cut out the lining. The same thing applies to the front. So this is the back, this is the front. So this is the side for the front. Okay, and here is the center front. Now for this particular dress, as we know, coming from the drafting part, you discover that we have the center front is not on fold, is on cut, is cut open, you can see. So because we have 8 pieces blouse, this 1 2 3 4 5 6 10 7 8. So because we want it in 8 pieces, we have to cut open the center front and also attach our fleece to it to make it full at the down part. So the same way I cut out the lining for the back, that's how I did it for the front too. So you use your own matching lining to cut yours out. So next thing I'm going to do is to make use of my stay. This is my stay. So you can use the lightest gum stay. This is something like this. If you don't want to use your stay, you can use the lightest gum stay. But I prefer to use the stay. It's also called the fabric gum or clothes gum in the market. So whichever you want. So I'll be using it on the fabric alone. If you have the luxury to add it on your lining, you can go ahead to do so, but I'm just adding on my main fabric, so just the main fabrics. So I'll just take out the lining, so remove the patterns from the fabric. So if you mistake the front from the back, kindly differentiate it. You can use your chalk. I'm going to use my chalk to just indicate that this is the front, so I don't mix it up. And this is also the front. No, this is not on fold. Remember, our front is usually on fold. Because this is not on fold, you may mistake this for your back. So it's advisable you differentiate. I'm using the letter F for front to differentiate mine. So I don't need to do any marking at the back. So once I see the F for the front, I know that's the front. So I'm done unpinning from my pattern. So I just set the pattern aside. Then we're going to start ironing. Now we're going to go to the sewing machine, but before that I have to cut out my breast pad. So now we're done with the piping. That's piping of the bust area and also joining. And that's the end of this particular video. So watch out for the next video where we'll talk about the sewing of this 8 pieces blouse, where I'll give you full details about the piping and how to go about them. So if you stay to the end of this video, thank you. Remember to give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe and share this video.